if Talia doesn't work, do you need to ban it? Are you not worried about it? Do the Titans pick red side and then leave the Talia up, gets first pick, and then it loses? We'll have to see how this does. If Talia pops off, permaban red side. That is what I predicted going into this series will actually happen going into game 2 and 3. I don't mind leaving up a power pick for a little bit so we get into another pause. But if you have a plan and it doesn't work after game 1, switch it up immediately, especially in a best of 3 series.
Yeah, when you get these best of series, it's all about making the best last adjustment. You don't really know how the series is going to go until somebody drops a game. So what we see out of this one will tell us a good story, but what we see in game 2 is going to be even more important. But it looks like we will be getting unpaused momentarily. Right now, so far, Titans kind of spreading themselves out across the map, looking for a 5-point. Phantasy Star being on the Nautilus, Plutus are going to look to try to get something, even if it's just a deep ward. We see them already 5-stacked on that bottom side. Going to try to catch and see where Turnips is going to start.
Yeah, already caught Plutus right in the beginning of the series. They're going for some crazy shenanigans. Otherwise, I mean, looking at all the runes, the summoners, and stuff, nothing too crazy. But interestingly enough, both top laners not going for flash. We saw how that did well for Chaos last week. Triton might be caught out a little bit here. See if Phantasy Star wants to flash for it, but he's not really going to go for it. They are going to still spot him out, though, just dropping a really shallow ward in the Raptors and the red buff, and both teams are going to be getting some vision into the opposing red side, but otherwise nothing too crazy. Phantasy Star going for that aftershock, and Super Bros going for a more team-oriented approach with the the glacial augment here.
Entirely opposed to the glacial augment here. I think it really works out with what he's trying to do. He's trying to play Peel for this team. Sure, a massive engage is going to be incredible out of Super Bros, but at the same time, that's not his primary goal. There are so many people that want to get onto this backline. He's going to play counter engage. Flow Fields, massively helpful for that. Keeps them away for longer, allows them to get more damage. Super Bro just checking. We'll get chunked out just a little bit, but overall, nothing too mad.
Not gonna lie,
keeping
probably
about
been one fight there for called Plutus, just because early game, you know, you get that. If you get that early jump, usually you win. Usually.
Yeah.
Definitely. Last thing I want to point out is in top lane, both top laners running TP Ghost and Phase Rush being run by Chaos. So just a big thing to go out. I feel like at some point the matchup, if you're playing against a top laner that can run Ghost, you're almost forced to play Ghost to match their speed when it comes to chase down or just disengage. So both of them running TP Ghost, so something to keep in mind.
Yeah, definitely very interesting. I mean, it didn't work too well for Chaos, but I mean, again, with double, if you're running a Ghost in the top lane, you have to play for the wave state overall, but it's nothing too crazy. I mean, junglers are clearing up. Olaf going for that full clear, and Lunar kind of looking to do a 3 camp or a 4 camp going into that bot side to see if he can try to catch out, try to look for that early 3v3.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if that's the play here, because recognizing that, you know, both his lanes were already pushed up a little bit when he was over on that other side. The gank is really just not on there. I mean, he's going to lurk and see if he can get something going with that lane, but I don't think that it's going to be pushing back anytime soon. I think this is just a lot of sunk time that Lunar's not going to get very much out of.
And like right now, I think he is going to try to look for something. It might be a little fruitful because the wave is pushing back. Obviously, it is a very good read of the wave state. So there goes the first dredge line in there. Cog Lunar going to get slowed up by the glacial augment. He's going to get stunned up actually, but they're going to clone out. Going to be pretty fine there. So there comes the Olaf. Does tag Lunar with the undertow. It's going to be a 4-man in that bot side. Let's see if we get that first knockup. Super Bro's going to get it. Flashing forward. There goes the first punt back. And first blood going over to Triton in this series.
Yeah, there's that early pressure, that early wave clear coming in massive, allowing Triton to roam down with his jungler. It's in that mid jungle duo, one of the best in the LAS, or else they would not be here. Getting that first blood down in the bot lane, the kill going over to Triton only makes this lane that much harder. He has a Dark Seal. He's looking to just stay alive and get these kills, so you see the confidence coming out of Triton, and it's going to be a fun battle in the mid lane to watch.
Absolutely it is. And you saw the Electrocute taken. Usually for the jungle, you would take, say, a Dark Harvest because you're looking to get the quick kill. But the Electrocute, instead, you're playing to land the full combo in the fights. Triton getting the roam down, getting the combo and the first blood. You can tell with the Dark Seal pick, he is going to look to do more of those roams. He is going to look to get ahead and to carry in this game.
Yeah, and even then, Triton didn't really lose much mid lane. He only lost about a wave and a half, which isn't too bad, especially if you're looking for those big roams there. Right now, it's not too much of a gold lead. Everything is pretty even across the map here outside of that 10 CS deficit in the mid lane. Lunar is going to get spotted out, not quite going to grab that, but Chaos going to grab a free stack for himself instead there. But otherwise, I mean, the game's pretty slow right now. Bot lane is going to start pushing towards Plutus, and Triton just able to clear out that mid wave so fast there with that little extra bit of AP. Stro gonna finally look for his first reset of the game here, but otherwise, I mean, nothing too crazy. It's gonna be a Cloud Drake first, and that should be going over to the Verge Titans as they do get that push into that bot side.
Yeah, this will.
All in all, it's going massively in favor of the Verge Titans in this early game, not just because of the roam, but because in the top lane, it's been really beneficial for Chaos. He's been winning out in these trades against the Gwen. At MSI, people have been trying to find an answer to this pick, and to various degrees of success. The Swain is a pick that, a very interesting one. Wants to be close range, can easily just keep poking you out, because just like Talia, as you gain more levels, once you hit level 9, that Q is on like a 2-second cooldown before ability haste. And if you're going the Leandri's build, that's just stacking ability haste on that, so you can just spam that ability all the way through. And that's just constant damage out there. So there's a lot of that going out there. I expect to see MR items coming out. Probably a Wit's End coming out of Lunar. Maybe someone coming out of Neptunum as well to keep themselves alive through this Talia and Swain.
Yeah, they are certainly going to need it. And going on to what you were saying about Chaos, with the Leandri's build, and also taking the Phase Rush too. So with a short cooldown on the Q, adding the Phase Rush into that, you get a little bit of Happy Feet action for the Swain. So we talk about Gwen with her dashes. Chaos should be able to kite around the Gwen just as easily with the Phase Rush. We can tell having no troubles, staying pretty even in farm, is a little bit behind. Strangleroot hit level 7 first, but playing very safe, whereas Strangleroot is getting chunked down, is down about a third HP there in that top lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's a top lane matchup. Surprisingly, Strangleroot isn't going super aggressive into Chaos. Gwen is usually one of those champions that is pretty decent in that early game, especially just because the amount of burst damage with her Q is there. But looks like to go mid lane, Stro able to just dash on out there, nothing too much. I mean, that is the safety that is the Azir. But both junglers hitting level 6 here. Turnip's going to meet up Lunar in the jungle. We're going to see how this goes. Astro is going to be walking over here. Going to have to be a little careful. So he should, yeah, he just walks out perfectly fine there. Lots of resets coming through. It's still only about a 500-600 gold lead in favor of the Verge Titans. They're going to grab this first Rift Herald of the game here, and this is going to be pretty huge. Superbro still looking for something in that mid lane, but otherwise, nothing too much going on. This should be a Rift Herald going pretty much uncontested. Again, like, both these teams, Verge Titans, they're just playing with so much priority right now, and they're going to be slowly sapping away the life force of Plutus. And actually, Stro has accrued himself a pretty sizable lead in that mid lane of almost 20 CS. That's about 3 waves worth of CS there.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more than that, but that kill is over, so it's a bit more even in the mid lane. But all in all, the big difference I want to look out is that top lane. That is a massive CS lead, and there's still a much bigger wave for Chaos. So Chaos is actually starting to win out this lane a lot harder than you would expect. He definitely is not going for the Riftmaker, as we can see coming from the 2 amp tones. He is going into a Lost Chapter item. More than likely going to be Leandries, but could technically still go Everfrost or something like that for a little bit more lockdown. We'll have to see. But all in all, it's roughly a 700 gold lead in favor of the Titans for this early game. Nothing too massive, but you can't let this lead grow anymore if you're the side of Plutus.
Yeah, especially because both of these teams are so good at taking small plays and turning them into bigger plays. That first roam from Triton, even though he is gone down 2 or 3 waves, got the first blood, they got the priority on the dragon, and then was able to rotate up for that fight on the top side. They forced out the ultimate from Lunar, forced him to withdraw, he was chunked out, and off of that they got the Rift Hero, which they should get several plates off of this wherever it's deployed by turnips.
I would probably like to see a dive in that bot side. It's going to be a little hard just because Lunar and Turnus are both matching each other, but there's going to be the Dredge Line, the CC lock onto the Alistair. Super Bros will be the sacrificial lamb as he will get taken out. Not quite level 6 yet, not quite getting that unbreakable will there. Pack forced to use the flash there. Drake coming up in about 25 seconds. Pink's coming out mid. They're going to try to force a little something mid here, but this should be full priority in that bot river for Cog Plutus.
I will clarify, this is not another Cloud trade. The game is glitched because Riot has not fixed their Spectator Planet. That's a Hextech Dragon. As the label has been updated, it is a Hextech Dragon that is spawning, so that's going to be the dragon that Cog Plutus is going to look to take. So it looks like the Titans are going to contest here.
Oh, Super Bros, that's a nice pullback onto 1. Fantasy Star gonna get CC'd up, gonna get exhausted actually. But Lunar gonna get exhausted, gonna get ignited. He will get burned down in Ragnarok as he will get a one-way ticket to the fountain. As Stro gonna have to be a little careful, gonna dash over the wall there. Does still have the shuffle, does have flash. Hack doesn't have any mana here, gonna have to be careful. Triton also doesn't have flash, so gonna have to be careful of that damage also in that mid lane. But again, this is gonna be a second Drake uncontested by the Verge Titans. Again, they are just pulling the trigger at the right moment. Mid lane, that's going to be the Shurima Shuffle right on top of Triton. But Stro gonna get knocked up, and he's gonna get knocked back and knocked up. They're gonna get stunned also, but that should be Stro just getting out there, doing a lot of damage there. Nice job taking advantage of the flashless Triton.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an overstay by Triton. Probably should have rotated back through to the jungle and taken a reset. But good vision control here by Verge Titans. They had multiple control wards and the Scuttle Crab field down in that bottom river. So they were able to get the big knockup from Super Bros, start the fight, carry through the fight, and once again, tiny things, vision, rotation, they're turning those things into 1 fights, 1 skirmishes, and turning them into objectives. They've taken all 3 on the map so far.
Yeah, so Chaos. Yeah, this is... He's actually healing a ton there. Gonna get a double pullback, not quite using the Demon Flare yet. And that's going to be the play dissuaded. There's going to be the Weaver's Wall coming up. Let's see if he lands a knockback. There goes the ultimate, and that's the snipe over there from downtown with a Super Mega Death Rocket. And once again, Verge Titans are on their A game here with these plays. Rift's going to be top bot lane, going to be the Dredge line. No Unbreakable Will, and Super Rose will get taken down. That's a root right on top of Pack. And this should be a 3v1 dive. Let's see if he gets a 1 in return. He's not quite. Fantasy Star taking the tower up a little bit too long. Going to be below 100 HP, and that is going to be another kill secured by Neptunum. Cog Plutus going to make plays on the opposite end of the map here. As top lane, that should be a Rift out crashing. I don't know if it's going to grab the tower quite yet. Cog Lunar, oh, you're going into an Olaf there, as that is going to be a red buff denied there. First tower blood taken in the top side by Chaos.
Huge plays from the side of the Titans getting that first tower, but the answer for Cog Plutus was there. They got a double kill down in the bot side for Neptunum. We saw these answers come out from Empire before, but this is much cleaner than an Empire. They didn't give any kills back over. They got over to Neptunum, so now this Varus is actually getting ahead. It is an on-hit crit Varus, as he does have the Immortal Shield Bow, does not have any items. And right now, Stro is showing, like, you can't just mindlessly roam around. He will punish you. He's up 30 CS. He got a solo kill onto Triton, evening up the kill score. While no real plates went down, he is still an entire level up on Triton.
Yeah, and this is how Plutus is going to get back into this game, is really overloading this bottom side. Because if you look, the roams from Triton, Pack, and Super Bros have actually put them down levels. They've been staying relatively even with the CS with the exception of Triton, but they have dropped levels, and Plutus pushing these advantages. Chaos getting 2v1'd here.
Yeah, I mean, Chaos, he is doing pretty well for himself. Fantasy Star actually walking back into it. Gonna use the Dredge Line. Spider Nozzles his way out. Neptunum gonna get chunked out, but he does have the full stack lethal tempo flashing to dodge the pull. And that is going to be a kill going over. Teleport on the flank here by the Gwen. Gonna pop the W. Gonna go untargetable. Because that's going to be Strangleroo going straight on in. Getting the slow. Going to try to kite back as much as you can with the rocks. And nearly gonna get sniped out by the Varus, but Everfrost going to root him up, and that is going to only be a 1-for-1 there. Jungle for support, but overall it is a pretty even trade there. Second Herald of the game going to be claimed by Cog Plutus uncontested, and this game is pretty much just back and forth. A lot of all the kills almost going over to Neptunum.
You have to say that's the one fight for Plutus. They did end up losing Lunar yet again, but that TP was actually massive for Strangle. It did not look good off the get-go, but he got so much damage from the final channel of the needlework, going all 5 needles through 3 members of the Titans. They only got 1 kill out of it, but the health bars were so low the others had to back away, and the engage from Lunar to confirm the kill and force the Titans back so they could get Rift Herald was incredible. Not to mention the fancy footwork from Neptunum to get the kill on the Chaos in the top lane. Just, well, no wonder he's one of the top
Lunar.
ADCs.
Oh, Lunar. He's so dead. He just used a clone to grab a Gromp, and he will die for that Gromp. That's going to be a couple junk camps taken by the Verge Titans. They're going to be taking this 3rd Drake of the game here. They have strong scaling, and they're going to pretty much go to Soul Point uncontested. Stro is here, but this shouldn't be contestable mid lane. Chaos is going to go there, going to clear it up, make sure nothing else gets taken away. Rift Herald actually going to be spawned in that mid lane, so that should be a mid tier 1 falling here, pretty much. And that's going to be a flash right on top of Neptune. I'm going to knock him up. He's going to get hit again. That's going to be a big shutdown going over the Pack. Super Bros is still alive there with the Unbreakable Will. Chaos going to pop that ultimate. Going to go on in, going to get the suck. And that is going to be sniped from downtown by Pack with the Super Mega Death Rocket. 3-1-1. As they look to siege that mid lane here after getting that Drake.
Huge plays coming out of the Verge Titan. The dragon is up. It's Ocean Soul, and they have an Olaf. He loves the Ocean Soul, especially in a poke-heavy composition like this. So, what do? They go, they try and find Lunar, they catch him when he's not expecting them. He uses the clone to help take the Grump faster. That's a normal tactic, but when you're not expecting that, good flash from Triton to avoid the wall, and Stro flashing in return. So that's going to be a pretty even trade to make sure these mid laners don't die. And so they kill Lunar, they get the dragon, and they run down the mid lane, and just huge plays, getting more kills onto Pack on this Jinx. He mentioned it, he's one of the best Jinx players in this league, and he's trying to cement himself as the best ADC that LAS has ever seen.
Well, and it's not just how many kills they're getting, it's who they're killing. Right before the dragon, catching out Lunar in Plutus' own jungle, knocking him off, getting free priority on that Ocean Dragon, and then in that last team fight in the mid lane, getting the headbutt and then the Everfrost from Triton right on top of Neptunum, recognizing the danger target and wiping him off the map, claiming the extra 400 gold.
Yeah, right now, I mean, Triton getting chunked out there. Stro playing that range very nicely. He's up 30 CS. and up a lot of levels right now. Everfrost's going to be able to delay that engage, but Triton is going to be having a really rough time there, playing that range very nicely with the Sand Soldiers. But now the gold lead isn't too bad. It's only about 1.5, 2 towers to 1, and it's a gold leads. A lot of it is focused in these mid lanes and these ADCs. So again, like this is the premier matchup that we are kind of looking at here. Right now, it's kind of slowing down. Next Rick's going to be up in about 2 minutes 30 seconds. Baron's going to be up in about 40. But right now, it's pretty much dead even between the two big main carries of these two teams.
Yeah, it's dead even, but it's top jungle that is heavily in favor of the Titans. That's the entirety of their gold lead. It's in this Olaf and Swain over the Wukong and the Gwen. Mid lane is very negligible when it comes to the gold difference, and Pac is only up like 200 gold over Neptunum, who is, by the way, building the Wit's End. As you can see the items he is currently building. Rylai's is actually the second item for Chaos, not going for Demonic's Embrace, not going for that Spear Visage. A perfect game for Spear Visage. Excuse me. Because you have the Gwen, you have the Azir, and a bit of magic damage coming from Phantasy Star and Neptunum. So that's a lot of magic damage that you can whittle down with Spear Visage, plus the amping of your own heals. So I expect to see that in his build at some point. But all in all, it's not looking that bad for Plutus. They're still able to get them, but right, they have to get this dragon that's spawning in a minute 10.
Yeah, they have got to stop the Drakes stacking for Titans, because yeah, they got the second Rift Herald, so they finally stopped the straight run of objectives. But if you don't get a soul, and that could be trouble for Stro.
Oh my god, that knockback. Beautiful. Chef's kiss. Mwah. Stro just going a little bit too deep there, unfortunately. Gonna get hit with a knockback. Right before the Rift spawn, too.
Yeah, he will be up for it, though, but he should have TP by the time he gets up. It's very, very close. I do not know the exact timer on it, but it should be up by the time he gets there, so he will still be there for the fight. That's just a little bit of extra gold. Getting down the tier 1 turret down in the bot lane. Strangler is going to try and trade up in the top lane. He also has TP able to get down there, so I think Strangler is just going to push them up in the side lane.
I mean, yeah, they have the teleport, but what's going to happen by the time the teleports can be committed? Because Titans are already 5 stacked in the river. We talked in draft about you have the chokes, you hold the chokes, you win the fight.
Oh, the Weaver's Wall. That is not what you want to do for your team. Teleport coming in. Striker groups go straight into the backline. Soul is going to be claimed here. But Chaos is in the thick of it all. Gonna keep on sucking. Gonna get the first Demon Slayer off, but a kill is gonna get traded there. Jungle for support. But nice arrow coming through. Lunar's gonna get shredded by Chaos. But the pull is coming through. Gonna get the slows off, but it is only going to be a 2-for-2 jungle and support for both these teams. And the soul claimed by the Verge Titans.
Now, right out the get-go, looking at the kills, you would think that it's in favor as Super Bros becomes the sacrificial lamb and the engage is there. They try and get as much... They try and punish them for taking the soul, but it's just not enough. They do manage to get 2 kills. All in all, when it comes to just flat-out kills, it's worth for the side of Plutus. They got the shutdown on the Olaf, but the problem is they gave up the Ocean Soul. So a lot of their poke is just neglectable at this point. It's just going to be easily healed up. You have an Olaf, you have a Swain that love healing. And this is, again, this is a good game for Spirit Visage. So if this is even more incentive for them to build it, because the Ocean Soul will become increasingly more effective as well. All in all, Plutus just need to have these perfect engages now. It's not going to be easy with Ocean Soul.
Yeah, I mean, Titans really played that about as well as you could. Maybe the Weaver's Wall could have been placed a little bit better, but if you're Super Bros, you're more than happy to play that sacrifice role. Just making sure just to buy the time, because Titans, they've got the damage. Talia's big, Chaos is big on the Swain, Pac on the Jinx has got some nice kills, has both Gale Force and Runons completed. So they had plenty of damage to burn that thing down. They just needed that little bit of time. Super Bro's more than happy to provide.
Yeah, right now, there is not a lick of grievous wounds for either side. That is going to be pretty important once we get into those scaling team fights, but especially for Cog Plutus. Phantasy Star going in with the Dredge Line, not going to have that Aftershock, so he's going to be in a bit of a pickle. Going to get tagged with that Dredge Line, but right now he's getting slowed up by the Undertows. There's the full combo in by the Alistair, but forcing the flash out already, trying to go to Ragnarok his way, trying to get Lunar, but right now it is a little bit of a weird fight. There's going to be Stroll backside 3-man Shurima Shuffle, but nobody is around, and that's going to be a 2-man seismic toss. It's going to be better there by Triton, but it's going to be a big smorgasbord of a fight. Chaos is finally in, going to finally get the pull back. Stroll going to try to run away, going to get slowed by the red buff, but it's only going to be 1 kill traded for 4 in favor of the Verge Titans, and they are going to start to look to get this Baron.
Oh, the moves were so slick by Stro, but no one was there to capitalize. There was a disengage, 2 massive ultimates had been used, Super Mega Death Rocket and the Ragnarok. Weaver's Wall could not be popped because Triton was in the thick of things, but no one was there to capitalize on the massive Shurima Shuffle. So all in all, it just falls in the end. Stro has to get out of there in the very end. That's 4 kills given over and a Baron as well in exchange for just 1 Jinx with a minimal shutdown.
So I'm going to go super other end of the spectrum. I hate that Shurima Shuffle with the white-hot intensity of 1,000 Suns. Yeah, it's a 3-man hit, but they got out, and you literally just choke-pointed your whole team there. Plutus, to walk forward into this fight, had to walk straight into the line of fire. Titans were able to concentrate everything into that one little gap that Stro so kindly created for them.
Without a doubt, honestly, like, if he flashed for it instead and cut him off completely, that could have been a decent team fight just because if the team was ready, but unfortunately, Cog Plutus, none of them were ready for that, and it forces the flash from Stro, doesn't really do anything else in that team fight, and again, like you said, Scotty, that pretty much just funneled everybody into that little choke point, and that pretty much destroyed any hopes that Cog Plutus were going to look to win that team fight. Now the Baron is up. It's going to be up for about another minute and 50 seconds here. They're going to look for that hard siege there. They're looking for that split. Gwen is in that top side. Objective bounties are up. Weaver's Wall going to cut off Cog Plutus, and Neptunum is all by himself. He's going to Ragnarok his way to a kill there. Neptunum will get taken out. That's barely doing any damage. It's going to have to be a little bit careful. That's going to be a knockback. Unfortunately, the combo not quite going through, but the super minions are coming down, and that's going to be the wings coming through as Lunar is right in the thick of it all. He will get completely shredded there by the Demon Flare, but Gwen is in the backside, going to claim that shutdown onto Triton, but it is going to be a triple kill there for Pat, and this should be the end of the game here as Verge Titans take a 1-0 lead in this series.
Oh, the fight was so not good. The Weaver's Wall was actually perfect. Triton using it to try and cut them off so they could get the inhibitor tower for free, but Neptunum found himself on the wrong side of it. Didn't have flash, gets caught out. They try and punish Titans for going for it, but in the end they just lose the fight, get aced, and they lose the game off it. Titans take a 1-0 lead.